Matt LeBlanc, episodes just finished its third season earlier this year. You're about to embark on its fourth season. Let's talk about something straight up that I think is really, really integral to the way the show works, and that it's just really, really funny. Like the laugh out loud factor on this show way surpasses a lot of other so-called comedies on TV today. What's your view on how actually freaking funny this show is?
Well, thanks. That's very nice of you to say. I think it's funny. I believe in it. I think it starts with the writing. You know, we have two very, very gifted writers, Jeffrey Clark and David Crane, and there's no writing staff. It's just the two of them, and they come up with every word of every episode by themselves. And I just started getting the scripts for season 4. I read the first 3, and they're laugh out loud funny when you read them. And they read like they're 5 pages long. You just kind of fly through them, and you think, wow, that's a whole episode? Huh? Wow, it's pretty short, but it flows good. It's tight. It's really tightly written, and you know we have a great cast. Everybody works really hard. Everybody's up to the task. And the networks behind it, BBC in the UK and Showtime in the States, and it's one of those things where all the pieces sort of fell in the line, and here we are in season 4 already. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's come along quite quickly actually. I feel like the show only debuted not so long ago, but here you go. You're almost about to embark on season 4. For people who aren't too familiar with the show, you play an exaggerated version of yourself, I suppose you could say. You play what you have said in the past in interviews with us. You're playing the public perception of Matt LeBlanc. After 3 seasons, do you still sometimes find yourself looking at a script and saying, hey, is this me or is this the TV show me?
Well, no, I think it's generally the TV show me. I don't generally get the two confused. I've been working with David Crane and Jeffrey Clark since '94, since the beginning of Friends, and they know my voice pretty well, and they know things that I'm potentially gonna, that are gonna raise a red flag with me, and there really haven't been any. They write, they know what my strengths and my weaknesses are, so they're making me look good.
Yeah. Given that you've been working with David and Jeffrey for so long, was it a real no-brainer for you to continue this relationship with those guys?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they called me and said they had an idea, and I basically said, okay, I'm in. And they said, do you want to hear the idea first? I said, oh, we should probably do that. Take the proper steps, yeah, but I'm in. So
yeah.
I wanted to make sure they didn't call Schwimmer.
Yeah, of course. No, we couldn't have that. No. What I think actually hits a nerve, well, how this show hits a nerve is that although it's obviously an exaggeration and a witty take on the public persona of a TV star, I think a lot of it might ring really quite true in the industry. A lot of people who work in Hollywood probably watch this and think, wow, is this a documentary? Like, I don't know if I'm just pulling that out of the air, but do you think that is an element of this show's success?
Well, I think, well, there's a couple of things. I think people within the industry, in the entertainment industry, tend to try to guess who these characters are based on, like with the people at the network, and they think they know who it is. And I think all the characters are sort of a mishmash of different personalities that the writers have come across. But I think bigger than that, I think people relate to the show that are outside the industry because, we deal with things that are everyone can relate to a horrible boss. Everyone can relate to an egomaniac. Everyone can relate to making bad decisions. Everyone can relate to making bad decisions that are, as a result of having too much to drink, or everyone can relate to going through a messy divorce or infidelity, or, a lot of the themes we deal with in the show, they're pretty widespread. I mean, it's not just in the entertainment industry, but if you place it in the entertainment industry, it seems to have more appeal for some reason. There's something about the entertainment industry that's entertaining, which is unintended, but I don't know what it is, but it just makes everything seem a little more inflated and retarded.
Yeah. Well, see, for those of us who are not in the industry, it's the mystique of Hollywood and the big time and showbiz. And then for those of you who are in the industry, a lot of it would ring true, and a lot of people, as you say, would be thinking, now, who is Merc actually really, and who is, some of the other characters, who are they actually playing? So I think that you're totally onto something there, and a testament to the way that the show has really hit a nerve, especially amongst Hollywood people, is that it's done very well with awards. You've been nominated for this now for the first 2 seasons, and you're now in the running for season 3, and even more remarkably, David and Jeffrey have been nominated in writing for both seasons. Usually a first season show does quite well with the Emmys, but to be nominated again really shows that episode is quite popular with that branch of the Academy. What do you think about the award success for episodes so far?
Well, I mean, if you look at it just on face value, it's a comedy. That's the category that it's in, and I think, for my money, if you're looking at comedies, first and foremost, it should be funny. And I think there are a lot of shows, I mean, I'm not naming names, but I think there are a lot of shows out there that claim to be comedies that just aren't really funny. I don't know how else to say it. But it's got more, but I think Episodes has more than that. I think it's, they've done a great job in generating compassion for the characters. You care about these people, you worry about them, you root for them, and my guy in particular does some awful things, but they've managed to give him enough redeeming values, and it's tricky in playing it to do horrible things like I do in the show, and still sort of have the audience root for the guy. It's a fine line, but if you can make it work, it really works well. And I think it's a fresh idea. Maybe that's why it's successful with the awards, with the people that vote. I mean, aside from that, I don't really know.
Yeah, you just take it, I suppose.
I don't want to jinx it. I don't talk about it too much.
No, let's not jinx it. No jinxing. Now, you were nominated a few times for Friends, and then you were nominated at the Golden Globes as well, and you won 2 years ago. And I know you spoke about this last time we chatted, but I just want to know, hearing from you, when you're nominated a few times and then you finally hear your name called and you get to go up there, take a statue home and see all the famous faces in the crowd, what is that experience like? Is it as crazy as it looks?
Yeah, it's surreal for sure. Usually anytime I've ever been on stage for anything, you look down into the crowd and you don't recognize anybody. You're not supposed to recognize the audience. They're just people. And we're there to entertain them, and that's generally why you're up on stage. But at an award show, you're up on stage and you look down, and it's all the people that are it's like the cream of the crop in the entertainment industry. You look down, it's all the people that are nominated for awards are all right there in one room, and then that's a little nerve-wracking because there's people that you may potentially end up working with, hopefully. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You don't want to be careful, make sure your fly's up. All these little things. This is the things that go through your head, and it's over in the blink of an eye. It seems like as soon as you get up there, they're flashing the light to wrap it up and get off the stage. And if you don't, they start playing that chamber music and go. But it's weird. It's not one of those things that you have any sort of experience to prepare you for. Being nominated and going and sitting at the table, and when they don't call your name and you start drinking, is completely different than being nominated and then they call your name and you freak out. It's a completely different experience. Both are great, but I would say having experienced both, winning is probably a little better.
Yeah, winning. I think you're right there, mate. Winning looks pretty cool. Now, I'm wondering, going back to when the show first started, did you know much about Stephen Mannigan and Tamsin Greig? They're really quite big names in the UK and in Australia and other countries. Did you know? You didn't at all? Okay.
I didn't know. I read with a bunch of actors, and when I read with Stephen, we were all like, yeah, he's the strongest choice. And then Tamsin was not available originally. And then we had a schedule change based on another actor that came in to play a different part who ultimately fell out, but we had to change the schedule for him. And that made the dates work by changing the schedule. That made the dates work finally with Tamsin. So she then became available. So then I read with her, and it was clear she was heads above the rest. And so after Stephen was our number one choice, but you know, when it goes through the casting process, you always have to have 2 or 3 actors and let the powers that be make the choice. So Stephen was the front runner, and you know, he's waiting to go in for the final audition, and I had already read with him. And I went in, and I thought, this would be a good time to play a joke on him. So I went over to where he was sitting, and I sat down next to him real, like, conspiratorially, and I said, hey, listen, can I give you a little piece of advice? And he said, yeah, sure, that'd be great. I said, okay, when you go in there, don't suck. He was like, what? He still talks about it. I got him good. He caught him unexpected. That one. That's a good one.
That's just perfect. Love it.
We have a great. I mean, it really is a lot of fun to shoot. I like comedy. I like the idea of lifting people's spirits. I like, you know, working really hard and fine-tuning jokes to get it to where it's its best foot forward. And you know, people, whether, you know, over the years with friends and with episodes too. Now people say, you know, I had a rough time last year. I was going through something in my life, and the show really, you know, made me feel better about it and made me forget it for a half hour. And that's great to be able to provide that for someone. I mean, that's in my opinion an honor.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what you guys are all doing. You're storytellers, you're entertainers, and if you can get people to react that way, that must be very gratifying. And a lot of that has to do with the writing and also with the performances. You do a lot of your scenes with Tamsin and Stephen. There's a lot of other very funny people on that show. Are there any actors on the show that you very rarely ever have a scene with, and who would you like to have scenes with if you could?
Well, I really have hardly anything at all with Kathleen, you know, who plays Carol. I have no interaction with her. We joke about it all the time, that are we in the same show, you and I? And it's really funny. And I think because of the relationship between the characters, or lack thereof, you know, my character in the show deals with only her boss. So he doesn't need to deal with her. So anytime we're in the room, I specifically stage it where I have my back to her. And she gets so mad at me. She's like, why do you have to do that? Well, you don't have to do. I'm like, because that's funnier, I think. If I just right to your face, I think that's funnier. So she gets a little frustrated with me at times. But I don't have much with her or anyone in that network environment that's on the show. I don't really work with any of those people. I had some stuff with Merck, and I think Merck will be coming back again this year. Merck's pitching stuff at the network. And yeah, but I think the main focus in the show is those 4 characters: Stephen's character, Tamsin's character, Kathleen's character, and my character, and that seems to be the sort of main wheelhouse for the show.
Yeah, I'm speaking with Kathleen early next week, and I'll certainly raise that with her that you don't do enough with Matt on the show, and you've got to have a chat with David and Jeffrey about it. But I'm not sure if she'll have much to say about that either.
That's about how I stand on the stage with my back to her.
Yeah, I certainly will. I'm sure she'll love that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Given that you came from a big-time network show and now you're on a premium cable show, which is also a co-production with the BBC, what's the main difference, apart from being able to swear and showing nudity, what's the main difference between working on those 2 formats?
It feels like on this show there's less micromanaging by the network. They kind of hire people and let them do their jobs. And I don't know if that's just because it's a smaller world. I don't know what the reason is for that. But on a network show, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Just the nature of the beast, I guess. You know, you're dealing with a lot more money, a lot more. You know, you have advertisers. And you don't want to alienate anybody, so the network really needs to keep an eye on your content and make sure that you're playing, that everyone's on the same page and you're not going off the reservation, so to speak. Mm. And I think that to me is the biggest, other than what you said. I mean, you can swear and show naked people.
Always a plus, really, but you know. Always a plus. Before you go today, Matt, I want to talk about some of your episode highlights. You've been down this road many times with the Emmys. You've got to pick your best episode when you're nominated. Your odds at the moment on our site, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're pretty good for you to return to the Primetime Emmys. Have you given any thought to your best episode? Because I certainly have, but I'd rather just hear it from you, what you thought your best episode was.
Ooh. I think generally with episodes, it seems to be the ones that are toward the end of the season that are the best, the richest, because they write the show like colliding trains at the station. You have a bunch of trains coming into the station and no one has any breaks.
Yeah.
Those tend to be, story-wise, the richest of all of them. So I haven't really gone through it with that in mind yet. I have scenes that I like, that were really, fulfill, like the stuff with my ex-wife in season 3, making the spaghetti and talking about that kind of stuff. That was funny. Always the stuff with Steven is real fun to play. The DUI arrest was funny. There was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's a hard thing for me to do. Generally, I ask the advice of the writers and the network. We kind of pool our ideas and come up with what to submit, because I don't know. I'm not one of those people that really watches what I do over. I'll watch it once when it's on, and then I won't watch it again. Really, it's bizarre for me, because to me, I look at it and I think, well, that's strange, because those aren't my thoughts that I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it's always weird. It's always been a thing my whole career. A little strange. So I'll watch it once, and then that's it. I may watch a rerun of Friends every now and then if it's late at night. I can't sleep. Can't lie about that.
But that's healthy. You don't want too much self-reflection. That would be very unhealthy. But
what episode would you submit if you were?
Well, I tell you what. I think first of all, the season finale is always a good one for you, like it was last year, and that's a good one. But I love episode 6, which is you have this really, really funny tirade about British actors taking American roles. That was just ideal for you. You also you're offered a role on.
That was a ridiculously hard speech to remember.
Really?
To do it again. See, what we do is, because it's on airplanes and stuff, so you have to take all the swears out.
Right.
So we'll do a pass like that, and then you do a pass right away without all the swears in it. They'll write a clean version. So you have to know 2 versions of it. And
wow.
I couldn't believe I got the clean version in one take. I couldn't believe it. There was like a big applause.
There was a ticket. You did it. But yeah, that's funny. And I'm not sure what you would have called Fuck That 40, which is the show that Matt is offered on CBS. But anyway, yeah. So you got that. You had he has sex with Dawn, the 19-year-old daughter of Morning.
That was all in episode 6?
Yeah, you have to say how you're doing to get her. I mean, it's just so funny, so funny. You break up with Jamie Lapidus. Like, there's a lot going on in that episode. So.
She breaks up with me.
Well, that's right. She breaks up with you because she can she smells what had happened prior to. But it's a good one. There's a few, when you go to Jay Leno, that's episode 4. That's a really funny one as well. So you've got plenty to choose from. It's not an easy choice. Maybe Showtime have to step in, or the producers have to step in and just make that Sophie's choice for you. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. Look, we'll see what happens at the Emmys. We wish you all the best. Episodes is most likely going to be back up there in contention for the writers, for yourself, and for the show. And good luck, mate. Appreciate your time today, and thanks for making us laugh.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. All right.